The following is a Salt and Light special presentation.
Hello and welcome to Salt and Light's special presentation of today's very special event from St. Peter's Basilica. The College of Cardinals are gathered in Rome in what we call the General Congregations. These are the preparatory meetings leading up to the Conclave, where they discuss various topics about the current state of the Church and the future of the Church, and they discuss how to proceed into the Conclave. Now, one very important decision that has been made in these general congregations so far, aside from the date of the conclave has not been set, but the cardinals have decided that they will hold a special prayer service for the Church. So in a few moments, we'll be going live to St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, where the cardinals of the Roman Catholic Church are gathered to pray for the Church in this time of transition. Now, as I mentioned, the cardinals have been meeting for the last couple of days. They've had 3 general congregations so far. This morning was their 4th. So far, they have not set a date for the beginning of the conclave, but we do know that the Sistine Chapel has been closed off to the public. A false floor has to be set in, and 2 stoves have to be installed. So we know that those preparations are taking place, and in this morning's briefing, the Vatican spokesperson, Father Federico Lombardi, said that a date could potentially be announced tomorrow. When asked how much time the cardinals would give the world before starting the conclave, how much advanced warning, he said, well, they'd give us a few days' notice. You are looking now at live images from St. Peter's Basilica, where many of the cardinals of the Catholic Church have gathered to pray for the task at hand, have gathered to pray for the Church and pray for guidance as they move towards electing the next successor of St. Peter, the next Roman pontiff. This prayer service will be led by Cardinal Angelo Comastri. He is the archpriest of the Basilica of St. Peter's. Archpriest, meaning that he is essentially the prelate who takes care of the basilica. He is responsible for the spiritual life inside the basilica. As we wait for this prayer service to begin, we can tell you that today, as of today, almost all of the cardinal electors are present in Rome. There are 2 outstanding, 2 who have not arrived yet, one from Vietnam, one from Poland. Father Lombardi, the Vatican spokesman, said that the cardinal from Vietnam is expected to arrive in Rome tomorrow. And we expect that tomorrow or shortly thereafter, we may get news of the start date for the conclave. Now, the Vatican's Sala Stampa, the Vatican press office, has been holding daily briefings for the media to give them a general sense of what has been going on in the general congregation meetings. We know that some of the themes that have been spoken about so far by the cardinals include the implementation of the Second Vatican Council, the new evangelization, so how to reach out and repropose the faith to people who are perhaps nominal Catholics. They have discussed the relationship between bishops and the Roman Curia. They have also discussed Vatican bureaucracy, the Vatican Curia, the Roman Curia. And we know that this morning, Father Lombardi advised journalists, the cardinals have begun to discuss the characteristics that the future pope needs. He said a profile has begun to emerge. The prayer service at the altar of the chair in St. Peter's Basilica is beginning. Let's listen in now.
La risurrezione di Gesù. Ma se Cristo non è risorto, vuota allora
the reader reflecting on the resurrection of Christ.
la vostra fede.
Pater noster, qui es in celis,
And he leads
sanctificetur
the Our
nomen
Father.
tuum, adveniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sicut in cielo et in terra.
That is Monsignor Guido Marini, Master of Papal Ceremonies, leading the Cardinals. He will lead the Cardinals in the
Ave Maria,
glorious
gratia
mysteries
plena,
of
Dominus
the Rosary.
tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
Monsignor Guido
Secondo
Marini
mistero.
is leading the Cardinals through the glorious mysteries of the Rosary as part of this prayer service. They just concluded the first glorious mysteries. They are praying the Our Father and Hail Mary in Latin, the one common language among the Cardinals.
Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum, adveniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sicut in cielo et in terra. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, Maria, grazia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, grazia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, grazia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, grazia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, grazia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, grazia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, grazia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
Terzo mistero. La discesa dello Spirito Santo nel cenacolo. Mentre stava compiendosi il giorno della Pentecoste, si trovavano tutti insieme nello stesso luogo. Venne all'improvviso dal cielo un fragore.
With this, we begin the third glorious mystery, the descent of the Holy Spirit on the Last Supper, on the apostles in the cenacle.
Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum, adveniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sicut in cielo et in terra. Ave Maria, grazia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, grazia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, grazia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, grazia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, grazia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, grazia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, grazia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
Quarto mistero, l'assunzione di Maria al cielo.
The fourth glorious mystery is the Assumption of Mary into heaven.
Grandi cose ha fatto per me l'Onnipotente, e santo è il suo nome.
Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum, adveniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sicut in cielo et in terra. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
Quinto mistero. L'incoronazione di Maria, Regina del cielo e della terra.
We meditate now on the fifth glorious mystery, the crowning of Mary as Queen of Heaven and Earth.
Con la luna sotto i suoi piedi e sul capo una corona di 12 stelle.
Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum, adveniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sicut in cielo et in terra. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tui mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto.
The Cardinals will pray the Salve Regina, having concluded the rosary, and then we will go into the exposition of the Blessed Sacrament. Having concluded the Salve Regina, the traditional hymn in honor of Mary, the Blessed Sacrament, the Eucharist, is carried to the altar of the chair, around which the cardinals are gathered for this special prayer. There will be a hymn when the Blessed Sacrament is placed on the altar, and then the cardinals will spend a brief period of time in silent personal prayer, personal meditation. The rosary itself, a powerful prayer, both mental prayer, but also part meditation, and a sign that the cardinals are asking for divine guidance, opening themselves to the Holy Spirit. Cardinal Angelo Comastri, the archpriest of the Basilica of St. Peter's, will place the Eucharist on the altar and lead this time of Eucharistic adoration. He will also give the benediction at the end of the period of adoration and silent prayer. The Eucharist is carried in, and the acolytes hold a canopy over the priest who is carrying the Eucharist as a sign of respect, for the Eucharist, a signal that this is not just a piece of bread being carried in, this is the presence of Christ. And he places the Eucharist in the monstrance. He had been holding the Eucharist in a special container. The monstrance was there waiting for him. Choir sings Jesu Dulcis Memoria as Cardinal Comastri censes the altar. The incense rising, a symbol of prayers rising to the heavens. An image, an appropriate image as we think of the cardinals' prayers rising to the heavens as they pray for guidance. The cardinals kneeling in reverence to the Blessed Sacrament. Cardinal Comastri leading the adoration, leading this period of adoration. We just heard the Schola chanting Jesu Dulcis Memoria, a hymn of praise to Christ, to the one who founded this church, this church that is now in need of a new Supreme Pontiff. Again, this gathering, this prayer service today was called for by the cardinals themselves. They voted during the general congregations. Yesterday, they voted during their session yesterday to hold this afternoon prayer service, open to any cardinal who wanted to attend, and open as well to the public, to the many people who live and work in Vatican City. A moment of prayer for the Church in this unprecedented moment in its history, in the midst of the possible confusion, in the midst of the different emotions that these cardinals may be feeling as they deliberate, as they discuss the current state of the Church and discuss what the next Pope needs, who he needs to be, what characteristics he needs to have. In the midst of all of that, of all of the worldly affairs that these cardinals need to deal with, they have called for this moment to come together, put all of that aside, and kneel before the Lord. A powerful sign of the weight of the task that is before them in the upcoming days. The cardinals began this prayer service reciting the rosary in Latin. They meditated on 5 of the glorious mysteries, an act of opening oneself to the presence of Christ, to the presence of God. And they are now kneeling in reverence before the Holy Eucharist, before the Blessed Sacrament, in a moment of silent adoration and silent prayer. After this moment of silent prayer, Cardinal Angelo Comastri will give a benediction, and the cardinals will proceed to pray the prayers of evening vespers, the same prayers that each of them has to pray every day as part of their life, as part of their share in the priesthood. Of course, they pray the breviary every day. Symbolically, the cardinals are gathered around what is known as the altar of the chair. The altar of the chair of Peter. A powerful reminder, a powerful sign that they are praying for guidance as they try to select the next pope, the next successor of Saint Peter himself. Appropriate that they should pray at the altar dedicated to the Pope. Many of the cardinals visibly deep in prayer, placing themselves in the presence of Christ. Among them, cardinals from around the world, including cardinals who are leaders of different rites. We have seen the Maronite Patriarch present here at this prayer service, the Syro-Malabar Patriarch as well. from the four corners of the earth. They are here. Cardinal Camastri prepares to lead the next portion of this prayer service. That was the Sistine Chapel Choir, led by Father Massimo Palombella, singing one of the Psalms. Next we will lead into the Vespers of the day, and the same choir will lead the Cardinals in the first Psalm, Psalm 126. We will now hear the second psalm, Psalm 127. That was the second psalm, the second antiphon. We will hear a third antiphon and the canticle, which is taken from Colossians chapter 1, verses 12 to 20. There will now be a short reading taken from Philippians chapter 2, verses 12 to 15. It will be intoned in Latin.
Deus est enim, qui operatur in vobis et velle, et pereficere pro suo beneplacito. Omnia facite sine murmurationibus et hesitationibus, ut efficiamini sine querela et simplices filii Dei.
After that short Bible verse, we will now hear the responsorial psalm. The schola will lead, and the congregation, made up mostly of the cardinals, will respond. After the responsorial psalm, we will hear the Magnificat. At the moment, the cardinals here take a moment for silent meditation on the Bible verse they have just heard. Cardinal Comastri will now
Deum
lead a prayer.
omnipotente de providentem exultemus, ipse citonia, quibus indicet populus suus, sebul nos primum de regno suo sollicitos, ideo acclamemus.
Adveniat regnum tuo et justitia
Pater Sancte, cui Christum ut pastorem animarum nostrarum dedisti, ad esto pastoribus et populis eorum, diligentiae creditis, negregit desit curat pastoris, neque pastoribus obedientia gregis. In nuc Christianos, ut fraterna pietate infirmis auxilientur, et ipsi filio tuo in iis subveniant. Fac ut nondum evangelio credentes ecclesiam tuam ingrediantur, e anque bonis operibus semper edificent in caritate. Da nobis peccatoribus veniam a te impetrare, et simul reconciliari cum ecclesia tua. Presta, ut defunctiat vita transeat aeternam, et semper tecum commorentur.
Pater noster,
The cardinals now sing the Our Father, having prayed, asking the Lord to let his kingdom come and his will be done.
Presta quesumus Domine, ut per quadragesimalem observantiam eruditi, et tuo verbo nutriti, santa continentia tibisimus toto corde devoti, et in oratione tua semper efficiamur concordes, per Dominum nostrum Iesum Christum Filium Tuum, qui tecum vivit et regnat in unitate Spiritus Sancti, Deus, per omnia saecula saeculorum.
Cardinal Comastri gave the final prayer, and the choir and the cardinals will now sing the Tantum Ergo, the traditional hymn of praise to the Eucharist. Cardinal Comastri kneeling before the Blessed Sacrament, he will now proceed with benediction. bless the congregation with the Holy Eucharist, and we will hear the Tantum Ergo. Another moment of silent prayer and reflection before the Blessed Sacrament. In just a few moments, Cardinal Comastri will pick up the monstrance and give the final benediction. The cardinals gathered at the altar of the chair at the very rear of St. Peter's Basilica, collected in prayer as they embark on the task of selecting a new pope.
Oremus. Deus qui nobis su sacramento mirabili, passionis tuae memoria reliquisti, tribo quesumus, ita nos corporis et sanguinis tui, sacra mysteria venerari, ut redemptionis tuae fructum in nobis iugiter sensiamus, qui vivis et regnas in saecula saeculorum.
A special stole is placed on Cardinal Comastri's shoulders. This stole is traditionally used when a priest gives benediction with the Blessed Sacrament as a sign of reverence for the Eucharist that is within the monstrance he is holding. He now blesses the congregation with that Eucharist. Having given the benediction with the Blessed Sacrament, we will now hear the Sistine Chapel Choir chant the acclamations that go with this benediction, chanting the different names of Christ. Blessed be God, blessed be his blessed name, blessed be Jesus Christ, true God and true man, and others.
Benedictum nomen sanctum eius, benedictus nomen sanctum eius, benedictus Iesus Christus, verus Deus et verus homo, benedictus Iesus Christus, verus Deus et verus homo, benedictum nomen Iesu, Sanctissimo altaris sacramento, benedictus Iesus in sanctissimo altaris sacramento, benedictus Sanctus Spiritus Paraclitus, benedictus Sanctus Spiritus Paraclitus, benedicta excelsa Mater Dei, Maria Sanctissima, benedicta excelsa Mater Dei, Maria Sanctissima, benedicta Sancta Eius et Immaculata Conceptio, benedicta Sancta Eius et Immaculata Conceptio, benedicta Eius gloriosa Assumptio, benedicta Eius gloriosa Assumptio, benedictum nomen Mariae Virginis et Matris, benedictum nomen Mariae Virginis et Matris, benedictus Sanctus Iosef Eius Castissimus Consus, benedictus Sanctus Iosef Eius Castissimus Consus, benedictus Deus in angelis suis et in sanctis suis, benedictus Deus in angelis suis et in sanctis suis.
The Eucharist will now be taken out of the monstrance and returned to the tabernacle while the choir chants Psalm 116.
Spiritu Sancti
Cardinal Comastri processes out of the chapel where he has been leading this prayer service, and the cardinals who are gathered at the altar of the chair of St. Peter in St. Peter's Basilica begin to make their way out of the chapel as well. They do not have another meeting scheduled today, but they do have a long day of meetings scheduled tomorrow, both a morning and afternoon session. And of course, Salt and Light will be giving you updates on what happens during the general congregations. We'll be giving you updates both on Perspectives and of course on Vatican Connections this Friday at 8 p.m. You can visit our website, saltandlighttv.org, for resources about this interregnum period, how the conclave works, and what happens once a new pope is elected. We'll also be posting any updates we get from Rome on our blog. Now, you can tune in tonight to Perspectives with Sheridan Sanders at 7 p.m. Eastern. She'll give you a full rundown of what happened at the Vatican today. As I mentioned at the top of the show, we have no date yet for the start of the conclave, but Father Lombardi did suggest that we could have a date set tomorrow, and if that happens, we will bring you that news, we will bring you that information as it happens. And of course, you can always tune in Friday night at 8 p.m. for Vatican Connections, where I will give you a full look at everything that's been happening at the Vatican this week. So, from everyone here at Salt and Light, thank you for watching and stay tuned.